Hi everyone, just a quick class to keep you going while I'm on holiday, keeping everybody mobile and hopefully fit. It's a shortened version, so you can either pause the video and do extra repetitions or do it twice. So here goes. It's Pilates Flow. So we're going to start off another couple of nice deep breaths. Oh, relax through those shoulders, nice neutral hips. Remember, tipping backwards and forwards, finding that midpoint. Soften through the knees, feet hips distance apart, knees, hips all facing forward. Nice, I can't even speak. Couple of nice breaths. Deep breath in, so breathing in through the nose, relax through the abdominal muscles, fill the lungs through the bottom of the rib cage, and then exhale. You should feel it naturally drawing back in. This time when you do it, so you can take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, start to draw up your pelvic floor. Just connect with that core. And that's the reason we use that Pilates breath, is just to remind you which muscles we want to recruit. So we're looking for the core, so it's those deep muscles that are stabilising through this pelvic region, stabilising the spine. And it's the best position for us to be to exercise and for everyday life. Okay, let's start with a little warm-up. So if you can, float your arms up to your chest and just bow and arrow arms. So you're drawing back one elbow, taking your gaze back towards that elbow and back to the front. So you can breathe in, and as you breathe out, raise that pelvic floor slightly, switch that core on but not fully on, just enough to protect your spine as you're twisting, but not so much that you can't twist at all. So really pull it back, feel that shoulder base squeezing at the back. So the reason we do this is mobility through the shoulders, just warming up that shoulder girdle as well. It's mobility but also a strength move. Ooh, got a fly biting me. Okay, just so you can keep going with that one. Really good one. And then when you're ready, we're going to do some squats up to raises. So you might want to try these off the mat for balance. So if you raise your arms above your head, so not arching out through your back, just take your hands just in front so you can see them. Feet hip distance apart. You're going to squat, so you take your weight into your heels, take your arms backwards, forwards, and as you come forwards, take your weight onto the balls of your feet and raise up and hold. So you're activating that core. And again, so you're warming up through the hips, knees, ankles, and raising up. Okay. So, more of these. Sit. And going again. Really good balance practice. Okay, this time we're going to have an add-on. So exactly the same into the squat, weight into the heels, raise up. And as you come down, you're going to raise one knee up and open your arms, twisting towards that bent leg. And then back to the front. And go again on the other side. So squat, raise up. So nice bit of control here. And as you're lowering, raise that opposite knee. Twist towards it. One arm forward, one arm back. And then back to the center. Let's get that one again. And raise up. And as we lower, one arm forward, one arm back. So really rotating through that rib cage. Let's go again. Nice bit of balance, engaging the core as we raise this leg, mobility through the hip. And come back to the center. Lovely. Take those legs a little bit wider. One hand on the hip. We're going to reach up, really extend through that spine, soften through those knees, take it to one side. And then over to the other side. So nice stretch. And these obliques down the side. Mobility through the hips. Keep that neutral pelvis at all times. One more, that side. Okay, this time we're going to come over. We're going to rotate down towards the floor. So you get a nice hamstring stretch. Take it along, swap arms over. Up and around, standing nice and tall. Okay, go back the way we just came. So take it over, chest towards the front, nice and open. All the way down to opposite hand to foot. Across the bottom of the floor, change hands. So you've still got opposite hand to foot. Open it out here and back to the top. Let's go back again. Really mobility around the hips, through the lower spine, through the shoulders. Generally, an all good exercise. Okay, last one of these. Really open out. And then standing tall to finish. Okay, we're going to come to the end of the mats. And we're going to do roll downs, which mobilise through our spine. And most of us are quite stiff at some point in the spine. So, how do we start? Feet hip distance apart. If you're in doubt, 2 fists between your big toes will tell you. Check that your weight's evenly distributed between both feet. Knees facing forward, second and third toe facing forward, hips facing forward. Take those shoulders up, back and down. Just relax, get the shoulders away from those ears. So we're going to take a deep breath in. And feel that tummy expand. And as we breathe out, drawing up through the pelvic floor, connecting with the core, we're going to take your chin to your chest. Get a lovely stretch to the back of that neck. Arms nice and relaxed. And we're going to start this roll down. And it's taking one vertebra at a time, like peeling it off your spine all the way down. So the weight of your hips is behind your heels. Relax through those arms. Soften through those knees. Take it all the way into a forward fold. Go as far as you can. If you need to bend your knees a little bit more, you can do that. Just hang there and feel that lovely stretch through the hamstrings. Okay, so slightly different, Sean. We're going to walk out to plank. So you're keeping your hips as still as possible as you walk out. So switch that core on, but you're still breathing. So you're breathing by expanding through the back and side of your rib cage. Okay, so take your hands far enough over so you can drop your hips into a plank. Hold that lovely plank position. Hips down, nice and long through the neck. Push through those supporting arms. And then back to down dog. Feel that nice stretch to the hamstring. And then walk the hands back in. Back into that forward fold. And then take a deep breath in. Breathe out. Reconnect with that core. And you're going to restack that spine all the way to standing. So one vertebra at a time. Remember the hips are behind the heels. Nice and slow. And we're looking for control. All the way up. Head's the last thing to come up. Standing lovely and tall. Elongate through that spine. Let's go again. So breath in. Breathe out. Chin to chest. Start your roll down. Really concentrate on your body and what's happening. Keep your knees level, your weight distributed evenly between the 2 legs. All the way down into this forward fold. Great hamstring stretch, spine mobility, hip mobility. Hold it there. When you're ready, walking those hands out, keeping those hips from swinging from side to side. All the way out to plank. Engage that core. Nice and long through the neck. You can hold this one here as long as you like. And when you're ready, back to down dog. I'm going to walk those hands back into forward fold. So we've got lots of mobility, lots of control in this move. Hold it there. Deep breath in. Breathe out. And then reconnect that core to protect the spine as we restack it. And we come back up to standing. Lovely. Okay, and just come to the other end of the mat, just to do one Pilates burpee to take us back down to the floor. So standing nice and tall, raise those arms above your head, really have a lovely stretch. Okay, we're going to come all the way down. Take your hands by your feet. You're going to take one leg out and the second one, and then knees towards the mat. Fantastic. Okay, so from here, we're just going to do some little bit more mobility through the spine. So we're going to do sad cat, happy cat. So as we take a breath in, we curl our spine towards the ceiling. Think about curling from the bottom of the back, not just through the shoulders. And as you breathe out, raise that head and chest. Still push through these supporting arms. And let's go again. Breath in. And breathe out. As I said, you can pause the video, do a few more of these if you need to, do them separately. Okay, we're just going to come to a flat back now. Into bird dog. So you breathe in to prepare, feel that tummy expand. And as you exhale, connect with that core, and we're going opposite arm to leg, slide them along the mat, and then extend them away. Really reach away, keeping both hips forward, facing towards the mat. Nice and long through the neck. Great one for mobility, strengthening through the back and through the tummy, abdominals, mobility through the shoulder and the hips, and then go the other side. Breath in, breathe out. So I'm trying to keep my weight balanced, evenly distributed. So I'm not leaning to one side. So my core really having to work hard. Press through that supporting hand so you're not sinking through that shoulder joint. And then bring it back in. If you're more advanced, you can do this, take it out off angle, or you can raise that supporting foot off the mat. Just make sure your shoulder is over your hand, over your wrist, hold it there. So as I said, you can take this one off, put it back and lower. So just a little bit more challenging. So knees are hip distance apart, hands shoulder width apart. Let's just go, extend it. Careful not to roll the hip on that extended leg. Hold it there. And then back to all fours. Okay, into child's pose. Have a little stretch out, feet together, knees apart, hands forward. Take your tailbone towards your heels. Now, if you have knee problems, keep your tailbone in the air. And have a really good stretch here. Drop that head down. Great. And when you're ready, we're just going to thread the needle here, which we've all done before. So there's a nice mobility through the top part of your rib cage. Over to the other side. Make sure you do everything the same on both sides. And then when you're ready, come down to the mat and onto your side. So we're going to start with clam position. So we're looking, extend that arm away. Hope you can all see me. Knees at 90 degrees, feet together. Now push this top waist away so you lift in through this bottom waist. Because if I sink into the mat, my spine's doing this. So push that top hip away. Float 2 feet off the mat. And you're just going to open and close here. Okay. So, if you want it more advanced, quite happy for you to stay here. For those more advanced people, you can actually come up and open and close here. So your core's just working a little bit harder to balance yourself. You could stretch up. Quite happy if you stay on the mat, just get that positioning right. And keep going here. Okay, so I'm only doing a small amount of exercises. As I say, you can repeat this twice, or you can just pause your video and carry on. So extend your legs away. Now, if you're a beginner, you can bend this underneath leg for more support. As with everything on the mat, take this underneath waist off the floor. I can float your top leg up, flex your foot, and rotate it inwards. So we're using the deep muscles in the glutes here, so you should really feel it. So you're going to raise and lower. Don't have to raise it too high. You will soon feel those glutes kick in. Just keep that rotation and flex that foot. If you've got sciatica, don't flex the foot. Keep it pointing because this is going to overstretch the nerves running down the back of your leg. So a bit more advanced. If you need to put your hands at the front to balance, you can. If you're a bit more advanced, take your hands away, extend that bottom leg away, and always challenge yourself. Try something a little bit harder every time you do a Pilates class. I'm just going to do 2 more. And relax. Okay, if those glutes are really fired up, you can hug that knee in. Just give it a little pat. And when you're ready, roll onto the other side. And do it on the other side. Okay, so remember, extend the arm away. Knees to 90 degrees. stack those hips and those shoulders. What I'm looking for is not rolling back. So I'm going to use that core, push that top hip away, raise 2 feet off the mat, and you're going to open and close that. If you're an absolute beginner, you can put your hand here. And I don't mind if you do that, it stops you rolling back. What we're looking for is stability, so shoulder stability, hip stability, using your adductors, inner thigh muscles, glutes, abductors, outer thigh muscles. And just remember, the more advanced is coming up here, opening and closing, exactly the same. And you can extend your hand up. Just come back down to the mat just to show you. When you've done enough of those for you, extend those legs away. Just remember, if you are a little bit wobbly in this position, you can bend that underneath leg and put your hand forward. Anybody that's done Pilates before, extend those legs away. Push this top hip away so you're raising through this bottom waist. You're not sinking into the mat. You're going to raise this top foot, flex it, rotate it inwards, and you're really drawing a line with your heel towards the ceiling. So don't worry about taking it too high. It's more about control in this part of the body. So everything's staying still apart from this hip joint. So you've got mobility through the hip, strengthening through the glutes. And anybody that's got lower back problem, a lot of the time it is the glutes or lack of glute strength that's causing them issues, as well as short hamstrings. So one of these. And one more, and relax. Okay, roll onto your backs. Just have a hug of your knees into your chest. Just release off through that lower back and rock from side to side. And then when you're ready, extend your arms and your legs away and have a full body stretch here. Well, that always feels good. Okay, bring your arms round, up above your chest, knees towards your bottom. And we're just going to do some opposite arm to leg movements. So very simple one. Just check you've got those hips in neutral. So neutral spine, you should have a gap between your back and the mat. You're going to slide one leg away and take the opposite arm towards the mat behind you. And then draw it back in. So you could breathe in, breathe out. Feel that connection with the core before you slide away. So you can stay here. Good for your concentration. And concentration Pilates is a really good de-stressor. So this is a great place to be. Okay, if you're a little bit more advanced and you're looking for something extra to do, you can float those knees up still with your head and shoulders on the mat. And just going to extend them away. Okay, so closer to the mat with your legs is harder. So if you're here, this is a lot harder. And that's fine as long as you're not compromising that neutral spine. Make sure that core switched on and not the abs. If it's the abs, you'll feel a doming through your tummy. For anybody that's very advanced, what's even more of a challenge, take your head and shoulders off the mat and do exactly the same thing. I don't know, opposite arm to leg now. That way. Okay, so what I'm doing now is strengthening through my chest. I've got a nice gap between my chin and my chest. I'm mobilizing through my hips, through my shoulders. My core is really activated. As I say, you come back to this level anytime or back to the beginning. It's just still a really good move, really good practice in Pilates. Okay. And then relax. Hands onto your thighs, and we're just going to do some C-curl up. So what we're looking for is to take your head and chest off the mat. So I'm going to breathe in, and as I breathe out, I'm going to curl up. Just check you're not doming through this tummy and not using your abdominals as you would in old-fashioned sit-ups. So reach forward with your hands, so you're up and forwards, and then relax. Okay, anybody with neck issues, hands cradled, head cradled into your hands, but don't pull on that neck. So exactly the same thing. I've got a nice neutral spine gap between my back and the mat. Breathe in, and as I breathe out, and lower. As I said, hands on the side. So you can stay there, or anybody that wants a little bit more of a challenge, you can start and bring one knee in. So keep that gap between the chin and the chest, and take it away, and the opposite. What you're looking for when you're doing this is keeping those hips level. So both butt cheeks stay on the mat. So you can stay here, keep that going. Anybody that wants a little bit more, you can straighten that leg. So you could do 10 on one side and 10 on the other. Really extend that leg away. So a bit more challenging on the core, on the hip flexors as well. Alternatively, instead of returning to the mat, keep the head and shoulders off. And you can do leg raises, keeping the head there. So find your challenge. You can change it at any point, but just keep going with that one. I'll just check what is next on our list. Okay, so you keep working while I'm just checking. Lovely. Right. Okay. Staying back onto the mat. So arms out to the side. If you are a beginner or have back issues or anything like that, all I'm looking for is putting your toes on the mat, and you're going to do hip drops. So keeping your head and shoulders on the mat, your gaze towards the ceiling. Take a breath in, breathe out, connect with that core. It's really important to protect your spine when you do this. And you're just going to take 2 knees to one side. Breathe in, breathe out. Feel that connection so you're not pulling on your back, up and over to the other side. Keeping that gaze towards the ceiling, both shoulders on the mat, and then back up. So really good one for those obliques through that core. So the more advanced ones among you, come up to tabletop. So exactly the same thing. So I'm taking a breath in, I'm breathing out. 2 knees towards the mat. Back up to the center. Use that breath to dictate that core, those core muscles. So you're recruiting the right muscles. What you're pulling on your back. So you're here. Even more advanced, if I extend that top leg that's coming over, that leverage just makes it a little bit harder. But I only want you to do this if you're very strong in your core and it's not affecting your alignment, so you're keeping those shoulders on the mat. Okay, the most advanced way to do this is 2 legs straight. And exactly the same. So while I'm demonstrating these, you just keep going with your level. Okay, I'm just going to do one more, just to demonstrate, and then back to the middle. Okay, one leg down, other one to join it. Okay, so similar exercise, but take your legs as wide as your mat. And so you just want to mobilize through those hips. It's a similar thing, but we're not using it as a strength move, it's a mobility move. So we're going to take both knees towards that mat. If you're super supple, you can take this top leg up towards your opposite hand. So you really feel it through the top of your shoulders. Take it back, so as wide as the mat. Use that core to take your legs up and over to the other side. Feel that lovely stretch down the side. And so if you're super supple, you can take that top knee over towards the opposite hand. And back down. So do that one again. So up and over, feet as wide as the mat. Think mobilizing through. Feel it through your shoulders. Feel it through your lower back, through your hips. This one, you feel a real stretch through those hamstrings as well. Extend that leg away. Up and over. Up and over towards the other side. Okay, well done everybody. Okay, let's just see what we've managed here for you guys. Okay, fantastic. Okay, So we're just going to do a single couple of stretch moves while we're down on the mat. So extend one leg away. First of all, we're just going to hug this knee towards your chest. Feel a nice stretch through those glutes. You're opening out through your hip flexors on your opposite leg. I'm just going to put my hands, link my fingers behind my thigh here. So I've got both hips on the mat, both shoulders on the mat. Relax through that neck and the jaw. And I'm just going to extend and bend. Nice, try and relax through that thigh. That should feel a nice hamstring stretch. As I say, if you haven't got sciatica, you can flex that foot as well. A little bit more ouchy, but still a good move. Okay, a couple more. Point. And last one. Okay, let's not leave the other leg out. So extend that leg away. Hug that other knee in first. So we're opening out through these hip flexors. Really stretch that in. And then interlace those fingers behind your thigh. And then you're going to straighten and relax. Straighten and relax. Keep breathing. As I said, you can flex that foot. Really lovely stretch. And relax. Okay, take. And then for the last move, let's just hug those knees in again. Hands on top of the knees, and you're going to draw two big circles. So as if you're doing breaststroke. So it's a nice one through your lower back, through your hips. And then relax. And very slowly roll onto your side, push yourselves up. You've been on the mat for a while, so take it steady. So for those that can sit in 90-90 in this position, do that. Try and get both sitting bones, the bony part of your bottom on the mat. Now I know there's a couple of you that struggle in that position, so you can either do cross legs, or if you've got real knee issues, just take your knees forward or your legs forward. So we're just going to go through a stretch here. So hand out to the side, forearm to the mat, and you're going to reach up and over. So it's called a mermaid stretch. Raise through that underneath waist. So we did something similar in the warm-up. We'll just do it to finish off. Okay, then take two hands towards the mat and take your chest towards the mat. Should feel it through your glutes a little bit here. And then push off, open out, up and over to the other side. Oh, really feel that stretch to the side, back to the centre, and then change legs. I'll just demonstrate it. So change legs, you'd have that front leg parallel with the mat. For those people that can't sit there, I've got my legs extended, so I'm just going to go up and over here. So really extend through that spine, so it's not a crunch down here. Nice posture onto your sitting bones. Arm out to the side, just go as far as you can. And then push up and over to the other side. Okay, one more. Up and over to the other side. Okay, so that's a really short Pilates, but it's giving you an all-over workout. So good luck with that one, and there'll be more to follow.